Hello, dear beautiful lights. I'm trying a new background, and so I was trying to figure out the lighting for that. But I think I got it. The shadows are so funky in this angle, but I think I got it. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to all of our beautiful lights. Hi, Holly. Wonderful to have you here, beautiful. I am so excited to get you your mediumship certificate. Oh my gosh. And you too, Samantha. Oh my goodness. I can just hand Samantha's to her. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I have a hard time keeping secrets and surprises. You know that. Thank you, Samantha. So I wrote you guys like little notes, and I brought tears to my eyes. So I can't wait to send the little notes in the mail as well. And for you, Samantha. Yay! Hi. Oh my god. Oh, buddy, we would love it. Wouldn't that be awesome? Oh my gosh, Holly, I would love for you to fly up here and yeah, just be a part of the Idaho hub. Hi, Jacqueline. That would be so awesome. Oh my gosh, you could meet our kids, right? You could meet our kids, see where we hang out. Oh my goodness, so wonderful to have you all here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to our beautiful, beautiful lights. So this is all about question and answer about mediumship and about intuition. Yay, we can take you in the mountains. We got this. Take you up to the ski hill. Hi, Charlotte. Wonderful to have you here. Mwah. So many blessings to you. So today is all about questions and answers for mediumship and intuition. And I just wanted to start with letting you all know that I went to a medium today. And it is beautiful, Jacqueline. Oh my gosh. And you're beautiful, Miss Jacqueline. Yay, right? Oh my gosh, isn't this amazing? Yeah, like we all get together and it's just like, oh, I'm grounded, I'm centered. Okay, yay, right? I totally get it. I just waiting for people to hop on. I know that Facebook takes a little while to get notifications out. And yeah, go ahead and put the hearts in the comments. That pulls more people in. I love it. I'll teach you a little bit about the Facebook algorithm. And so I wanted to share with you all though. I went to a medium today and it was so healing. It was so incredible. And she was so funny because in the first like 5 minutes, she's like, and you're intuitive. I didn't tell her I was a medium, right? And I go, I'm a medium. So anyway, it was really neat to get almost like her perspective, her the way she presents things. And so it was interesting because we've both gotten really good downloads from spirit for the beginnings of our readings. And so it was so funny because she starts going really, really fast. And so when we're channeling spirit, we start talking really, really fast. And I was like, there she is. And so it was amazing. So I was able to kind of take some notes on how she was saying things. And then, oh gosh, what was it? Oh, so we were talking about how she goes, just to let you know, I didn't Google you before you had this session. And it's funny because I've gotten that also. Some people think that like we Google before we do the medium readings. Isn't that funny? We don't Google, promise. We take it all from spirit. And then we were also talking about, wonderful, I love this. We were also talking about how some people may be like a little skeptical or that kind of thing, and how it was so funny because she brought my uncle in and we were talking about that too, like how people can be a little skeptical, which is completely understandable. Oh my gosh, you can't see this stuff unless you are a medium, right? But she was so funny because she brought my uncle in and she goes, his name is William, but he goes by Billy. And I go, damn, you're good. And I gave her a high five and she's like, I'm the real deal. It's so good. Anyway, so I just feel amazing. And it's wonderful to be on the receiving end of that. So yeah, she brought Billy in. She brought my Uncle Jim in. Uncle Jim made me cry. This is my bio dad's brother. And so yeah, he's like, you're doing all right, kiddo. I'm like, he totally would say that. So it was a really, really, really good session just all the way around. And it was really neat too, because then a couple of times she stopped talking and she goes, you're reading me, aren't you? And I go, yeah. That's what we do. That's what we do. And so then I was able to give her insights also, give her a reading also. So it was wonderful. So I just wanted to share that with you all, and welcome to those of you hopping on. I was just telling a story about going to a medium today. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really cool. I loved it. So, hello, Kimberly. I also just wanted to make sure that I was serving people at night as well. I know I do the angel card reading at night on Mondays, and I'm also trying to juggle and hang out with my kiddo on weeknights. I just felt like I was missing some of you guys by doing the morning Facebook Live. So I just wanted to hop on at night. I know it's like after work for some people, and just get in touch with you and get in your energies. So again, tonight is all about question and answer about mediumship and intuition. And so go ahead and drop your comments in, any questions you have. And I am currently just channeling the information and also from my own experiences. So again, go ahead and drop stuff in and I'll just keep talking. Hi, Kimberly. Oh, good. I'm glad too. I know. I was just like, I miss some of you ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's wonderful to be here. I'm just going to look for the comments and I'll just keep talking. I'll keep talking, but I'd love to hear your questions about mediumship or about intuition. Maybe about the process, maybe about something that's happened to you recently and you're just wondering what it is or what you're perceiving. That's really a huge part about mediumship as well, is how you're perceiving certain things. So with mediumship, it's, looking at my path, it is hard work. And so with that, it just takes a lot to be able to slough off some of the stuff that doesn't necessarily serve you. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily serve you. And so with that hard work, I've really had to do a lot of emotional cleansing and that kind of thing. And then also with that, it helps me to become more of a light, more of a conduit for spirit. And so on that vein, sometimes I need to change my lens of perception, okay? And so that is a big part of mediumship and intuition is perception. Okay, perfect. These are rolling on in. And remind me if I don't, I'm looking at the comments right now and sometimes I don't refresh them. Okay, so just remind me. So is it possible to coexist with a walk-in? So Renee, it is. And what I'm receiving is that it is possible to coexist. And also looking at that, it's also looking at the time and how we view time versus how spirit views time. So being able to coexist with a walk-in, it's almost as if it has a timing, not an issue, but it's about timing. It's about time, okay? And that we see things through our own lens of time. And so, yes, you can coexist with a walk-in with a different perception of what time could be. Another thing I'm receiving is to make sure that you, if you're the one, feeling like you're coexisting, also just recognize intention is what they're sharing right now. So just really recognize what the intention is for the coexisting, what the intention is for the walk-in, and also what your intentions are if you are the one who is coexisting. And I hope that makes sense, and definitely ask more questions beyond that. And then hope, I think there's other comments underneath, but I just have hopes right here. So differentiating between intuition and from your own thoughts. So with this, as we're looking at this, that's part of that process, and that what I was sharing, it's a lot of hard work. Some of my spiritual advising students are on here, some of my mediumship students are on here, and I want to go there first, okay? And with that, sometimes what happens is we have to do the work in order to figure out intuition and in our own thoughts, okay? Because our own thoughts are considered ego, right? And intuition is from spirit or a higher consciousness. So the hard work comes in emotionally clearing, in cleansing, in journaling, in really sloughing off all of these layers that we don't necessarily need so that we can be that clear conduit. In looking at that also, another way, and it's going to be deemed as hard work perhaps, but is to journal, okay, to do automatic writing. And so with that automatic writing or that journaling, what happens is spirit will come in and they will show you, or they will assist you with recognizing what is spirit and what is not. What are your own thoughts, okay? And so another modality you can use is you can use tools. So you can use a pendulum to see if it's you, or if it's your intuition. You can also use like manual muscle testing for that as well. And so with that, also with intuition versus thoughts, a lot of times intuition is first thought. Okay, intuition is boom. That's first thought is going to be intuition. Your own thoughts are going to try to analyze and try to make sense of it. Another way is to even just feel in your body. Okay, so some people can feel the intuition in their body, and it's just like, oh, that's right on. I absolutely know that's intuition. Or I feel like a little anxiety, or I feel a little of the lower emotions, let's say the lower frequency human emotions, and that makes me think it's my own thoughts. So I feel I'm gonna keep coming to this as well. So with looking at that, with intuition versus thoughts, okay, they're telling me to move on, but I feel like it's gonna come up more. And so you just let me know if you have more questions about that. And so Miss Kimberly has a big idea. Okay. Oh, I love this, ladies. Okay, so tell me about your big idea. Maybe you already did. Okay, perfect. So Holly, this is such a good question. I'm sorry if you're going through it. I'm wondering where the headaches and constant nausea, plays a role. Ugh, I know, I get it. Yeah, like it's almost like why, right? Right. I totally get it. So it is, okay, I'm almost wondering if you're asking why, or, but I'm just going to go with it, okay? So with that, we are moving up through those layers and through those levels. And so they need us to be able to vibrate at the same frequency that they're vibrating. And so with that, they're going to keep up leveling us. They're going to keep helping us to shed things that don't serve us anymore. So the nausea, the headaches, that type of thing, that is certain things that are not serving. And I know, oh my gosh, I know it is not pretty and it's not fun. And yet at the same time, it's all necessary. So some of those headaches and the nausea, those are old toxins. Those are old thoughts. Those are old emotions that are just like, get me out of here. And the faster you accelerate, sometimes the more symptoms you have. And so, honey, I get you. Is all I have to say is I get you. And so a lot of times when I'm going through like the Reiki cleanses, so now that I'm a Reiki teacher, I'm going through more cleanses, I'm still getting a little bit of the nausea here and there, knowing that I have to release. Again, they just want us to operate at the same frequency they are, so we can pull in those messages for them. So, really to be gentle with yourself. I know you know all this, but to drink a lot of water, to just love on yourself, Epsom salt baths. I'm also hearing the salt lamps, doing all of those things to really assist you for elevating. And then it's interesting, they're sharing. So when I think I shared this earlier, when I channeled the guided meditation for the guardian angel, I got too high. So guardian angels are much higher than I am, right? Because I'm still human, I have a body, and they've never walked the plane. They've never walked the earth, So I was like up there, like channeling, like it was fun for a while until I came back down. And then when I came back down, I was like grounding, eating granola bars, whatever else, like I was starving. And then I was like, go outside, touch the earth, And so sometimes we accelerate way too fast, like I did with that. And then we need to do the grounding. We need to be able to come back in. It's necessary. And that's another part of why I'm like, I know it's hard work. And so Charlotte, so if it's me or if it's them, and I think that kind of comes back to Hope's question. Hi, Lisa, about, okay, so there's more. Oh, I love you guys. Okay, so about intuition versus that. So sometimes you can ask for confirmation. So you can ask for if they, can give you some type of sign, okay? So for me, those of you who have had readings with me or do the mediumship classes or the spiritual advising, I get taps. So there's a tap on the wall or that type of thing. And one time my mom, let me tell you this funny story. She's so funny. She's a medium too, but she says she's not, but she is. But anyway, I was giving her a reading and I go, tap, thank you, tap, thank you. So that's just confirmation for me that it's them. And she goes, is this whole reading going to be about tapping and thanking them? I'm like, Mom, no. And so sometimes I get a lot of taps, okay? But I do want to acknowledge them. You can ask for other signs as well. So they also make my nose tingle and make me itch my nose. So that tells me I'm on the nose. Today, the medium that I saw, she gets spirit bumps or the goosebumps, right? So then you know it's them. I get tears. I get tears in my eyes when spirit's close. So these are all signals and signs. Sometimes we question it, and I know that I've told some of my spiritual advising students in here about that. And so with that, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Shoot, I was reading the comments. I should not have done that. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. So sometimes we question, or sometimes we like fight back with spirit. Maybe not fight back, but I argue, and I'm really curious. I actually, during one spiritual advising session, I think you're here, sweetheart, but I kept asking questions, thought to thought, and your spirit guide, great grandpa, he's like, you are so nosy. I just ask questions. I ask a lot of questions, and I kind of, challenge spirit as well. So I challenge spirit. And so I know one time I was going through a Reiki cleanse and they kept giving me taps of confirmation. And I was like, ugh, it's just the plumbing. Like I was just like, ugh, I don't want this right now, you know? And then my dear friend Joel, he steps in like right in my face. He's in spirit. He passed away when he was in his early 30s from cancer. And anyway, he gets right in my face and he goes, oh, we're going to do this again. Like that. And I was like, I believe. So anyway, I love that. Sorry. So I was just scrolling through. Yeah, so spirit absolutely can manipulate time. Absolutely. Make it go faster, make it go slower. They don't have any concept of time. I loved what the medium today that I went to see, and we all have our own beginnings, you know, and so she was really sweet. She was talking about time, and she said 20 years to us can feel like a blip to them, right? And they want us to experience that. They want us, you know, we're definitely in a body, and being in a body is hard. There's aches and pains and, you know, trials and tribulations. And the reason why we're here is to learn and grow. And so I think sometimes they just like kind of, I don't know, just like teasing us, and also just kind of being in our energy and allowing us to experience what they experience. And it's kind of fun. It's fun as long as you come back down, as long as you're grounding. Okay. And then Brenda, as far as for the walk-in, a lot of times my interpretation of a walk-in, and anybody else has another interpretation, go ahead and drop it in, is somebody who has, let's say, they've left their body in this lifetime, and then they've stepped into, like, almost like they've stepped into like a new role, sometimes within their body, sometimes not in their body, sometimes in somebody else's body. And so it's almost like an exchange of souls, okay? With that. So again, anybody else have more interpretation or more to add to that, you know, please do. Okay. So, okay. So you do that with internal conversations. Okay. Okay, sweetie. Okay. Whoa, there's a lot, you guys. Okay. I love you. I love you. Okay. Here we go. So Carly's, what is the difference between intuition and the unconscious? Are they the same thing? So I believe what you're saying. So intuition is, look at that. They tapped me on. Did you see that? They just pull these little things right out on the nose. Because I said, I believe this is what you're referring to. And then they're like, go ahead and itch your nose, Heather. So on the nose. So I'm on the nose. And so with intuition, so typically we're conscious of intuition. We're conscious of the intuitive hits. Okay. So typically we are conscious of that. And also with that, the unconscious, we're not conscious. Okay. We're not quite conscious of what's happening. What I'm also wondering is between intuition and unconscious, what you may be saying also is like in the dream state. So we are gaining information from the dream state in our unconscious state. And so I'm also just wondering about that too. So if you could clarify that, let me know. Intuition and the unconscious are not necessarily the same thing, no. And if you need me to flesh that out, just ask another question about that. Hi, everybody. Hi, Nichelle. Good. Right? Thank you. Thank you so much to Jacqueline. She's like, Holly, you're not alone. I'm like, yeah, honey, I've been nauseated too. It's all good. And I'm not pregnant, I swear. Okay, so Peggy hugged a tree. Yay. It's moving so intense. It's so oh, honey. Yes, 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 yes. Sweet love. Oh, right. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Nichelle. Perfect. No, you're talking. Okay, so Charlotte, you're talking with who you think you're talking with. So again, this comes back to mediumship, to the hard work. So I have been through intense training in order to become a medium. I was able to pull in spirit, but it was haphazard. So like my cousin Mikey, he would come into me like in meditations and I'm like, I just want him here right now, you know? So we go through a lot, again, sloughing off, releasing. And I know that that's what sweet little Holly's doing. Jacqueline is probably there as well. We have to get rid of all this stuff that doesn't serve us anymore. And so that's part of it. That's part of how we get more clairvoyant and get more clear. And so that's super important, is to do the work, okay? So for me, I know my loved ones, I know my spirit team through journaling, okay? So on the nose again, they are playing tricks, aren't they? And so with that, during my journaling. And so I did a ton of journaling especially as I was going through the mediumship process. And I'm like, so who is this? You know? And so, that's how I discovered, like, my grandma, she kisses me right here. Okay. And I kept getting a tingle right there. And I'm like, whoa, who is this? You know, I'm all about like asking questions. I'm super, super curious. And so all of a sudden it was like, grandma. And I'm like, grandma? Oh, grandma, what are you doing right there? You know, and I didn't know what exactly she was doing. And then I figured out she was kissing me with that. So journaling has been really, really helpful. For a while, I had like a twitch on my right eye and I was like, am I low on calcium? Like, what's going on here? And then as I was journaling, it came through that it was my friend Joel. So journaling has helped a lot with that. And so how do you know who you're talking with? Again, it feels like it comes down to that hard work. And it's also trust in spirit, okay? So if I'm hearing in a reading, if I hear them say, uncle, I'm going to go with uncle, right? Okay. Uncle. No. So if a lot of times my grandma, she'll kiss me here, and then I know there's a grandma stepping forward. Okay. And so that also assists me. It is going through the work. It's honing your heightened clairs as well. So your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your claircognizance, and your clairsentience. So those heightened clairs. So really honing those. And we can always get better. I loved the medium I saw today when she brought in my uncle, and she's like, his name is William, but he goes by Billy. And I was like, damn girl, you're good, right? So she was using her clairaudient. They were telling her that, okay? So using those heightened clairs. Yeah, and okay, so here's another thing they're dropping in. During some of the readings, they may come in as a different role than what you would think they would. So I had a grandma come in, and it turned out to be this gal's voice teacher. Okay. So with that, that's another thing that can happen, is that they'll do a certain role. So in my eyes, I see grandma stepping forward, and the voice teacher was like a grandma to this gal. And this gal that I was reading, she affirmed it. I said, your grandma's here? And she goes, oh, I know exactly who that is. That's my voice teacher. And she would say that I'm her grandma. Okay. So sometimes they come in different than what we're expecting. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, Lisa, amazing. Astral projection. Ooh, oh, yeah. And then it like coming down from that, sometimes it's like, oh, okay. So, my love, let's see. Carly's saying more like Freudian unconscious knowledge below the surface of awareness or consciousness. Is intuition just your unconscious knowledge? It is that subconscious. I feel like I'm pulling in more of what you're saying, and then it kind of cuts off. So, this is what I'm seeing more like Freudian unconscious knowledge below the surface of awareness or conscious. Is intuition just your unconscious knowledge? Okay, so yes, and I feel like, okay, that's in the comments. Woo, okay, so drop some more in. So with that, in looking at that, I stepped out for a second, but let me step back in. Okay. Okay, I'm there with you. I was just thinking about something else. Right. Okay. So intuition is that it's almost like, if you've ever heard of like we use only like 10% of our brains or that kind of thing, it is that subconscious. It is our higher consciousness. It is our higher knowledge, right? And then so yes, I hope that makes sense, that it's tapping into that subconscious. It's tapping into being able to utilize our higher self. And that can look a lot of different ways, okay? So I see what you're saying, and it's kind of that subconscious, okay? That intuition. It's also higher consciousness. It's, and I feel like as you... one of the clairs that is intuition is claircognizance, okay? So claircognizance. And so with that claircognizance, that's the knowing, okay? That's the intuition, that's the knowing. So I feel like some of this has a lot of different names, right? And so it can get confusing. So I'm glad that you're asking these questions. So for example, some people may say that they get insights, where other people may say that they get intuitive hits, okay? Other people may say, well, Spirit told me such and such, okay? And so a lot of times with my spiritual advising students, we're honing, let's say, both. And if they don't want to be a medium, that's completely fine. And we'll really hone in on intuition and utilizing your higher senses and your spiritual senses in order to heighten that intuition. So I hope that makes sense. And if you need to drop more in, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. I'm going to have some water. So this is funny. I was upstairs. I'm downstairs right now, just to let you know. So if you are going to come in and crash this little Facebook Live, I'm downstairs right now. But it was so funny because I talk about like high vibes and stuff like that, with my husband. And I mean, we just talk about that and abundant thinking and all this stuff here in our house. But it was just really funny because he's just laying, he was laying on the couch. Hopefully he's not on right now. But he was just laying on the couch. And he just gave me the thumbs up. And I'm like, thanks. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, I'm giving you high vibes. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I think it's interesting. Some people, different interpretations, right? Like this is high vibes for some people, whereas high vibes means something else for other people. So go ahead and drop more in. I'm just gonna ramble until I see some comments. Right. Isn't that funny, Michelle? Yeah. I was like, oh, thanks. This is high vibes, right? And you guys all know me here in the group. I'm like all about emojis and that's high vibe. Okay. For some people that's high vibe. Let's see. So I'm just going to keep tapping in. You guys have some great questions. Keep asking. If you want to flesh out anything, just please ask. And this is really, really good. And Carly, your questions are super good and so incredible too. And I'll keep commenting until I'll keep talking until I see a comment. Ooh, hi Michelle. Michelle, what? Girl, you're so funny. But a heart in the middle, right? I see that now. Okay. So, oh gosh, I love this so much. This is wonderful. So I'm just going to keep going with moving into that. So it's interesting with Freud and whatnot that you're bringing forward, Carly, because psychologists are really, those who have studied psychology have really pulled in some important information and really assisted us with kind of that flip and putting almost like a scientific background, to that flip into the spiritual consciousness, which I'm indebted to. So I have an undergrad in psychology, and I remember after getting that degree going for a spiritual road trip for 2 months. And my friend and I, we were both psychology majors, and we would dissect some of the information. So I thank you for bringing that up. With psychology, that is such a huge hub within spirituality. So thank you for bringing that up. So, Miss Brenda, you get headaches often, multiple in a day. It's more intense when I'm picking up energies and emotions around me. As I do the work, will this get better? Yeah. Okay. You guys still here? Okay. So it will absolutely get better. I promise. Pinky swear. Like we can, when we see each other again, I'll pinky swear. Pinky promise. It will. I am hearing for you to see if you can meditate more. Okay. See if you can clear out some of this, whatever's in your mind, not necessarily in your mind, but kind of concentrating up here. Okay. It is more intense when you're picking up energies and emotions. And are you doing your protection techniques? So I know you are. You can also do sweeping to help with that. So just to move some of those energies away from you. Another thing that I tell people is called slatting. So you put your thumbs here on your pinkies and you slat across your fingertips. Okay. And so, sweeping, I'm feeling water. I'm feeling more meditation. I'm feeling you may even need more protection techniques. And so it may be that you have 3 or 4 different ones that you're going to throughout the day. And, and you're just going to try out different protection techniques. And then also, again, just to do it often throughout the day. And there's multiple ones out there. So you can even look up protection techniques. I know mine in the files section, it's all the angels. And you can use angels, you can use light. I had a protection technique that I got over the weekend about the Merkaba, and that's in the Monday affirmations video with the Merkaba, and that was a really cool protection technique. You can also zip yourself up. That's another good protection technique. That's what it feels like. It will get better. I'm just trying to make sure. I want to make you feel better, Brenda, because that's not fun. That's not fun, girl. So again, water, meditation, more meditation. I'm almost feeling that there's any way you can have a clear, more of a clear mind with that. It will get better. I promise it does. I had I think it was 6 months of, and it was intense. It was intense because every day it was just a different symptom every day, right? And so it was like headaches one day and then aches and pains the other day. And it really purged out a ton though, but 6 months, I mean, I was like, is this ever going to end? And it does, right? It does end. And you do get to that higher vibration. And it was funny today during that mediumship reading that I had, she was like, gosh, you're so filled with joy. I'm like, thanks, man. I've done a lot of work. So it is very possible. You're going to get to the other side. I'm not saying it is very possible. Yeah. Cleansing like crying too. And I'm not going to ask if you've been crying, but it's a good thing to cry. Okay. Very good. It's awesome is all I have to say. So the medium, she had me crying today 3 times, and I was like sobbing at one point, and I'm like, you're so good. I do this to people all the time. And she's just laughing. She's like laughing. She's laughing at me because she knows, right, that you need to cry. You need to get it out, right? I feel it deep. And so to be able to purge the deepness out is really important. I know, you guys, like, it is hard work. It is like the cleansing, the purging, the headaches, the nausea, like, oh my gosh, why are we doing this? Right. But at the same time, it's so worth it. It really is. I mean, just the various times that I've just cried or gotten anger out, hitting the steering wheel, that kind of thing. I'm just like, oh goodness, like but it's so necessary and so needed, and you do get to the other side. You really, really do. You do. I promise. Pinky swear. Pinky swear. I love that. So Carly, sweetie, let's see. So again, I'm going to read what I see, okay? And I think I can see up to 4 lines. So it says, how do you know if what you are hearing clairaudiently is a spirit guide answering a question you have posed, or an ancestor or a spirit? Very good question. And I don't know what the rest of it says. So the difference, right? The difference between your guide and a loved one. So I like that you said an ancestor or spirit, and I call them loved ones. So with that, I'm kind of just asking my team. I'm like, how do I tell the difference, right? With that, there is, okay. It feels more like, I'm going to give you a few, they're sending me on a few different veins here. The loved ones, you can feel their personality, okay? A lot more than you can or you can feel the guides. I'm not saying guides don't have personalities. It's just that you can feel more of the humanness of a loved one, or the personality. Another thing is the vibration. And so with that, and this may just come over time, the guides have this higher vibration. So they've walked the earth before, but they've stayed in spirit, okay? And so they have this higher vibration. Also, some of the wisdom they may be giving you, okay? So hearing clairaudient, is it a spirit guide, or is it this ancestor or this spirit? So, shoot, they're sending me in 2 different directions. Let me see if I can catch up with them. So one of them that they're sending me on is that this ancestor or spirit could be your spirit guide, could turn into your spirit guide, okay? So my grandmother has turned into my spirit guide. Gal's great grandfather has turned into her spirit guide. So that's possible, okay? I never knew my grandma. And so with that, she feels close. She feels like a loved one. I can feel her personality. And at times she has this really high wisdom that it's almost like, not that it's only conducive to a spirit guide, but that it makes more sense it would come to a spirit guide. It come from a spirit guide, okay? And I hope that makes sense. A lot of times it's how they're giving you the information. So spirit guides give it very wise, very, yes. And it's almost, what they're sharing with me right now is it's almost as if it's, I hear somebody else answering your question out there. Somebody else is answering your question. That is funny. Who's answering her question right now? That's awesome. I can hear you. And so with that, this spirit guide is going to may not have as much inflection in their voice, okay? So, for example, when I was telling about Joel earlier, Joel definitely shows, this is me, okay? This is my personality. Joel is my friend who's in spirit, who passed in his early 30s. And so he shows me his personality. Grandma shows me her personality. This other feisty grandma, she came in during the reading today. Oh my gosh. So she came in and I knew it was her. And your grandma really liked men. And I was like, that's feisty grandma. That's feisty grandma. Yes. And so, again, they come in and they have that personality, right? And then the spirit guides are just going to they've just been in spirit longer. So they don't quite have those same personality traits or the same energy. Okay. And they don't have almost like the human energy. Okay. Okay, good. Were you the one? Okay, my guides roundabout way it like I have to make my own choice. Loved ones just tell me exactly what they think. Okay, good. Yeah, so it's almost like guides can be a little bit more cryptic. Yep, I can see that. I can see that definitely. So they're definitely in that higher, they're here, right? And so they recognize that your roles in this life is to learn and grow. And so they're not necessarily always giving you the information with that. So that's good. Thank you for bringing that forward, Samantha. So very good. Thank you. I love it. Okay. Anybody else? In regards to signs, I asked for a traditional one, high hope, the night before last, either a feather or a coin the night before last. You ended up finding BOT. BOT ... So I'm guessing that you found a different sign perhaps in regards to signs, and go ahead and put your comment in again. In regards to signs, I asked for a traditional one the night before last, either a feather or a coin the night before last. I ended up finding, and so I'm guessing you found another sign, but I'm not quite sure what your question is. So they're stinkers. And I'm just going to go off of this until I see another comment that comes through and see if this resonates. So they will, sometimes it's not on our terms. Okay, yeah, I still question myself whether or not it's a valid sign. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Hope. So, and I think that's really good. I think that's good. And so that comes back to trust in spirit. So that seems to be a theme here. And so how do I know if it's intuition or if it's just my thoughts? How do I know, some of those questions are coming in. And so what that is trusting in spirit, okay? 2 signs in one night, okay? They're going to start hitting you over the head. I'm just kidding. They're not. Maybe they will. No, but they're trying. They're trying to get in touch with you. And it is part of that trust in spirit. Okay. So I get taps, and for me to say, well, how do I know if it's just not the plumbing? And then Joel coming right in my face and being like, oh, we're going to do that again, huh? Hopefully they won't be that adamant with you. But at the same time, it's really trusting in spirit, trusting. That's probably been the number one thing, is trusting in spirit, trusting that that signs are your signs. Okay. Trusting that seeing a feather is your sign, trusting that, seeing, spirit animals is your sign, trusting that seeing dragonflies is your sign. Just, it's trust. Okay. Trust. And I notice if I'm in a bad mood, I notice that I'm like, I'll see a feather and I'm like, ugh, right? And I was just like, I don't see it as a sign because I'm not in a very good mood. And I'm like, wow, what are you doing sending me feathers? Or even the coins. And I'm like, oh. And so it's kind of funny because I also feel like sometimes it does depend on our mood, right? Too, of how we perceive the sign. Okay. And so to be able to transcend our own moods, me, for example, and to get to a point where it's trust. It's just absolute trust. I see a feather. I think about what thought I had before that feather, and I gotta trust. So it really does come down to that. And that's part of the hard work of the cleansing and the clearing and all that stuff, so that you can get to this point of trust. Okay. Yay. So Peggy's saying, I saw a butterfly and a crow on my walk today. So perfect. So that sounds like, 2 of Peggy's signs. So a butterfly and a crow. Okay. And looking at butterfly, what does butterfly mean? And you saw a crow too? I had 3 crows. That was awesome. I mean, at first it was just 1 that was circling around me. And then all of a sudden there was 3 and I'm like, whoa. And so looking up those signs as well is helpful. And so it's trusting, sweet Hope. It's trusting. Okay. I get it. I totally get it. I feel it with these teachings. It's because I've been there. Like, that's why I'm like, yes, I will tell you, because I've been there. And so it is trust. I mean, it just is getting there. And then just looking them up. Sometimes, I don't know. I shouldn't do this, but sometimes I get kind of like, I kind of roll my eyes at spirit. Does anybody else like raise your hand or hearts or something? And so sometimes what I need to do is I need to take it a step further. Okay. And so if I do see a feather or something like that, or something across my path, then I'm like, okay, I need to look at it further. Right. So I need to trust. I need to see life through spirit's eyes. And that's a big thing that comes through with readings, with spiritual advising. Samantha, I was hoping you'd put your hand up, Samantha. I was like, please, Samantha. I love that. That was awesome. I'm like, go, Samantha. We're sending messages back and forth, subliminal messages. And so it is recognizing that. And it's interesting too, because I kept seeing like 2 pennies for the longest time. And I didn't quite know who they were from. And then with journaling, I was able to figure out that it was my Uncle Billy. Okay. And even to the point that with my journaling, he was sharing, when I was 14, he made sure that I got penny loafers. So I'd always have 2 pennies with me at all times. It was really sweet. I was like, oh. So it is that research, it's that hard work. It's asking the questions. Ask. So asking spirit, okay? And you can ask spirit through journaling, you can ask spirit thought to thought, but ask. So they're bound unless we ask, okay? So we need to ask. And oh my gosh, did I get a licking today during that reading? This gal, I had a question. She goes, well, have you asked? And I was like, ask spirit, you mean? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, you just gave me a spoonful of my own medicine. Thank you. So she's like, ask. I'm like, okay. So asking is really important. So Brenda, I questioned a feather I saw while walking, then walked by it again, and it wasn't lying on the ground. It was poked into the ground. Right? They're like, boom, I'm going to, you know what? They do that, right? So they want our attention, right? They want our attention. So they will do whatever it takes to get our attention. So Peggy, oh, sweetie, so many loved ones in spirit. Wish I knew who it was when I see the signs, right? And so that's when, you can start the journaling, like I saw a butterfly today, or something along those lines. Meditation can also give you those pops, those intuitive hits. Your dreams, you could even ask for answers in your dreams. Like, okay, so I saw a feather, or I saw this, like whoever sent that to me, please come in my dream tonight. So you can ask them for that as well. Yeah, and they will do whatever it takes to get our attention, you guys. And they don't want to hurt us. They just want to get our attention. And so my friend and I, she's a medium also. We went to Vegas. It was so fun. And one of our waiters, we told him we were mediums. We started reading him, and he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He was totally fine with us reading him. But we asked permission and everything. He was totally fine. But he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, I had this spiritual encounter, and I woke up the next day and I had bite marks on my shoulder. And so my friend Heidi, who's a medium, she's like, so did it hurt? And he's like, no. Okay. So spirit was just trying to get his attention. Okay. And they'll do whatever it takes. Okay. Because they want to get our attention, and they don't want to scare us, and they don't want us to be in fear-based mode. They don't want that. Okay. They just want to get in touch with us. And so they'll, they may, one gal today, I had a call, a reading today on the phone, and she was just saying that, so she said, somebody shoved me in the middle of the night and they said, hey, and I said, okay. And I said, so they're trying to get your attention. And sometimes they don't have a body, so they don't quite know how much pressure they're doing, right? And so they're not necessarily trying to hurt or anything else. They're just trying to do pressure modulation, and they're trying to get our attention. So I said, the next time, you can say, okay, back off, I need you to back off. And you're going to tell yours no biting. No biting, okay? Don't bite. I like that, Brenda. Don't bite. I don't want biting. So you can, and you always have control. And so you can tell them to step back. You can tell them to back off. One gal that I was working with, she was a nurse, and she passed away in a motorcycle accident. And the very next day, she came in my living room, plain as day, in her scrubs, as if she was a person, right? And I jumped back, and I was in fear mode. And a lot of times, as soon as they feel that fear, they back off. So that's sometimes when we think we see something out of the corner of our eye and we look because we're frightened or startled. A lot of times that's why it disappears, right? Is because they feel our fear. And so I just told her, I was like, please don't ever come in that way ever again. And so I could still feel her presence, but it freaked me out. So I told her, and I've told other spirits, I'm like, please come in as a spirit would, like hazy or something like that, not like a human. That's too much for my psyche. It's too much. And so it's okay to put boundaries on spirit. It's okay. If they're waking you up at night, you can say, please let me sleep. If they're, one gal, she was like, I feel like prickly. It just feels prickly. So you just ask them to change. You ask them to be more gentle. You ask them, that kind of thing. And so again, we have control. We have control. So I saw somebody slip in. Okay. So Carly, I hear my father call my name a lot while awake and asleep. He has my attention. Now what? Why does he continue to call my name? So that's a really good question. So he's trying to get your attention in a couple different things. One, journaling. Okay. So doing automatic writing. Dad, what do you want? Okay. So something along those lines. And also with that is, he has my attention. Now what? Okay. Why does he continue to call my name? Also be aware of whatever thoughts you're having. And so he may be either interrupting thoughts. So if they're negative thoughts or something like that, he may be like, Carly, stop. Also pay attention if you're thinking like your career, or you're thinking like a big transition in your life. That's another thing that he may be like, he may be monitoring your thoughts, okay? Because they can read our thoughts. And so he may be monitoring your thoughts. And so pay attention to your thoughts during those times. Because I feel like that's what he's doing, is he's saying your name when you're having a certain thought. Okay, so I would say monitor your thoughts, and you can also journal. You can also ask him in journaling. Where did you go? Okay. All right. Right, Brenda, you're so funny. Okay. Shanna. The shoves I feel in the middle of the night are of spirit and of someone's earthly energy as an astral. Yeah, I feel that. I feel like we're always protected, and we can tell people to back off. Okay. So yes, Shanna, so I would do protection at night if you're not already. Yes, it is of spirit. It is of that. And also what I'm feeling again is to completely protect you. I'm feeling like almost like a cocoon. Okay. That's what they're showing me right now for you personally before you go to bed. That's the protection that you need. And it's just so that you're not getting shoved. It's just so that you can sleep, okay? And asking them to come in a different way, okay? Again, the cocoon feels really, really good to me for you, okay? So, yes. Also, and you can ask. You can always ask. You can always ask. Oh, wow. So, Peggy, you felt the earthquake. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Super interesting. Yeah. And it's super interesting as we're like between, we get between kind of the levels or the worlds or that kind of thing, how we perceive differently as well. The perceptions. Yep. Absolutely. So I'm just going to take a few more questions, and then I need to put my little boy to bed. We're reading Junie B. Jones, and she went to a carnival. I'm glad there's moms on here. And I want to find out what happens. We're on the last chapter. So I think she won one of the games or something like that. It's a good ending. I know Junie B. Jones is always a good ending. Always. So yeah, go ahead and drop in any other comments or any other questions. Spirit is all about love. Is really what it comes down to. And so Shanna, I loved your question. It does feel like spirit, and it does feel like maybe somebody's trying to get in touch with you. A lot of times too, what I'll say is this is what I'll say. If a spirit is hanging out, like sometimes they hang out on my couch, right? And I'm like, I'm not mean. I just tell them, I'm like, go find your human. Like, I'm a medium, right? Go find your human and tell them to come to me and let me unite them. One time I actually did, there was a gal that, right, bedtime stories. I like that, Samantha, thank you. There was a gal that had me come over to her house, and she had 3 spirits in her house. And there was actually 4, but she knew of 3. And also a lot of little kitty cats. And so her husband, whenever he felt spirit, they were both pretty in tune and whatnot, he would karate chop, and he would try to get rid of spirit by karate chopping the air. And so when I went in, I was able to verify the different spirits that were there, and they all just had been there before. And one in particular, and I think she's the one that was kind of getting in his presence, and it was causing a lot of fear. So he's like karate chopping the air, trying to get rid of her. He didn't realize it was a female. He thought it was a male, but it was a female. And actually, I was sitting on the couch, and I know she felt my presence. Like, I know she felt the love. Okay. So I'm always emitting out love. I'm always receiving love from spirit. It's always love. It's always unconditional love from spirit. Always, always, 100% of the time. And so with that, I was sitting on the couch, and she sat on the couch next to me, and they could both, the husband and wife, could feel her. And she held my hand, and she said, my son lives 2 houses away, and I need you to get in touch with him. That's it. That's all she wanted. That's all she wanted. And I just remember holding her hand, right? She's in spirit, and just bringing her that peace, right? Bringing her that peace. She was just trying to get his attention. And it's sometimes it's just the way we perceive it. Okay. So recognizing that spirit is of light, recognizing that spirit is of love, and recognizing that they're just trying to get our attention. Okay. She needed someone to get in touch with her son. Okay. That's why she was coming forward. Another time I was doing a reading on one of my spiritual advising students, and you're also Renee. Just so you know, I'm also Renee. That's all I see. Is that so? Shanna and Renee are the same. Okay, just so you know, I'm also Renee. Okay, that's what I'm seeing, Shanna. So I love it. I love it. Love it. So this gal was, oh gosh. Okay, so she was my spiritual advising student. I was doing a reading on her just to show her and educate her with readings. And I said, oh, grandma's like really touching, the side of your face, and she's, just loving on you. And the gal like jumped back, and she said it felt like itching. She was just like, she's like, grandma, back off, grandma. And what she was perceiving and what grandma was doing was 2 different things. Okay. So grandma was doing this. Okay. So grandma was able to, just go ahead and touch, and that type of thing. And so I said, go ahead and tell grandma to change the texture, change what is necessary here. So thank you, beautiful lights. Thank you for being here for this incredible time, and sending you so much light and love and so many blessings. I'm off for nighttime stories. So much light and love and so many blessings to you all. Thank you for being here. Mwah, 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 mwah. I'm just blowing kisses. If it's nighttime for you, I'm blowing you kisses. So light and love and so many blessings. Take care, you guys.